Alright, people, midweek report time. An awful lot to talk about. Start of the week, we had Canelo and the BBC, Dazn, what's going on there, Joshua-Ngannou. We obviously had the we had the Ryan Devon press conference. And now today, well, actually, I should really say in the last 24 hours, Dillian White released a video on his Instagram page. I've already talked about it, in a separate video, and basically saying that the comeback is on. Now, I think we'll start with that, right? So, Dillian White saying that the comeback is on. Now, obviously, we know Dillian White back in August was scheduled to face Anthony Joshua. I think, didn't they even film a face-off? Which I don't think has ever been aired. I think Gade did that face-off, and again, I don't think it's ever been aired. That was meant to happen, and a week before the fight, Dillian White, and I suspect it was probably not, news was broke on the Saturday, but I suspect it was earlier than that when they found out that Dillian White had an adverse finding. I think that was the word they used, adverse finding, which essentially means something was there that shouldn't have been. Now, Dillian White, after that, released a statement, and subsequently he's been, there's radio silence. That's literally what it's been, radio silence since then. So now he's saying that the comeback is on. I would imagine he wouldn't be saying that if he didn't assume that, yeah, the comeback is on. Now, in what capacity? Is he going to be still with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn? Is he going to be going solo? Is he going to go to Sky? We don't know. We'll wait and see what happens there. But I genuinely did think after all this came to light, the adverse findings and stuff like that, that Dillian White, this was not his first issue with failed tests and stuff like that. It goes back to 2012 when he failed for Jack 3D, which is an over-the-counter supplement. It's still available, you can still get it, but apparently it's nowhere near as good as it was back then. Whatever was in it has now been removed, or the good stuff that was in it has now been removed. And I never used it myself, but I did know people who used it, and they said, oh, it was something else back then anyway. They said it was something serious. He got 2 years for that. He obviously had the failed test in the run-up to the Rivas fight, which we were only made aware of after the fact. Now this, and I think there was another issue in kickboxing. I think it was kickboxing Dillian White did. So Dillian White it's not like this is a once-off or anything like that. And I really did think they'd throw the book at him with this. Apparently not. If he is on the comeback, what has happened? Has he cooperated behind the scenes with, UKAD, VADA, British Boxing Board, etc.? I'm only speculating here. Has he cooperated and they've said, all right, 6 months is up, go on, knock him out, do whatever you got to do. Maybe that's it, I don't know. As I said in the video, Dillian White did it the way Conor Benn should have done it. Because to be honest, I reckon if Conor Benn had have just kept his mouth shut, cooperated, he probably would, he'd probably be fighting back in the UK now. It probably would have all been resolved probably by the summer of last year, and probably would never have heard probably any of this ever again. Because that's the best way to do it. To go and be as loud as Ben was, and to, say the board have an agenda against him, to say this, that, and the other. It's just like, mate, you're not really, it's like they're the people who are going to try and, you got to work with them. Right? That ain't going to work if you're going to do that. And as I said, Eddie Hearn really should have reined them in. Now we're in a situation where, can he fight in the UK? I don't know. Wait and see what happens there. But Dillian White is obviously saying he's coming back. We'll wait and see with more info on that. I would assume he is looking at the Saudis, all the heavyweight boxing going on over there. Guys like Daniel Dubois, Zhilei Zhang, Joseph Parker, etc. And thinking, I've already fought there years ago when it was only getting started, and I'm missing out on all this. I'm missing out on these bags. I gotta get a move on, because Dillian White isn't getting any younger. He's in his late 30s now. So, yeah, he's going to want to get a move on. And, I don't think, given the fact he didn't look good, as I said, he hasn't looked good in a long time. People say, him against Chisora in the rematch and him against Joseph Parker, that was a good Dillian White. When can we get back to that? That's nearly 6 years ago. I know time is flying. It's scary how quick time is going. It really is. But that's a long time ago. In a fighter's career, it's not a massive amount of time in reality, but in a fighter's career, which is short, that's a long ass time. So it's a long time ago. I don't think we'll ever see. We are never going to see that kind of Dillian White again. How far gone is he? He looked bad against Franklin, really bad in that fight. So that's what I got to say on Dillian White. Tyson Fury is expected to be ringside for Joshua versus Ngannou in Riyadh next week. His brother Roman Fury is fighting on the undercard. Eddie Hearn said that in an IFL interview. Yeah, so Fury, well, obviously he's going to be there for his brother, but he's obviously going to be keeping an eye on ringside, waiting to see who wins. He obviously has Alexander Usyk in May, so he can have a look at this fight. He can see who wins. He can maybe say, after I beat Usyk, whatever. But as I always say, focus on the man in front of you, even if it is in May. Focus on Usyk, Joshua-Ngannou, because it always frustrates. Fury's not doing it. He's only there. But when you see someone like Deontay Wilder in the run-up to the Joseph Parker fight, and I remember saying, I was like, look, out of the two fights, Valine versus Joshua and Parker versus Wilder, Parker is the one I see more likely to have an upset, or would you even call Parker winning an upset? That's the one he needs to focus on. All Deontay Wilder did was Joshua. Focus on Joseph Parker. Nope. Oh, you lost. Well done. So, look, Fury can be there. Obviously, he'll go in the ring, probably confront the winner. All a bit of hype, but focus on Alexander Usyk. That's the main priority there. The main priority is we get that fight in May. Alright, that's the main priority with that one. In terms of Joshua-Ngannou, as I said, I must say, the Joshua-Ngannou special that me and Ade have been talking about, likely is going to happen on Saturday. It's going to happen on my channel, Saturday evening. We just need to sort out times. It should, as it stands, be good to go. We spoke a little bit today about it, but Ngannou Joshua special on my channel this time, because Ade's done the last couple. It's on my channel this time on Saturday. I'd say people are looking forward to that one. Ade and G, man. And I love doing those videos. I know Ade does as well. We love doing those videos. They're great fun, and you don't miss time going. I mean, we've done some of them vids where, like, have we done 4 vids? We're like, that doesn't feel like it. And you look at the clock, you're like, where'd that hour go? Yeah, as it stands, we're doing that on Saturday. I'm looking forward to that one. We all are. Last time I had Ade on this channel, we didn't even have 10,000 subscribers. We're closer to 20 now than we were then. So that is the Joshua-Ngannou situation. Jake Paul is in action on Saturday night. I believe it's in Puerto Rico, but I believe it's going to be shown on Dazn. Now, Jake Paul, funny enough, isn't the main event. Amanda Serrano is. She is facing a girl, 18-3, called Nia. I'm only going to get this name wrong. Meekin? Something like that. I was going to say it looked German. She is German. It looked like a German sounding last name, but kind of in around that part of the world. She's 30 years old, from Germany. And yeah, record is 18-3. She's been stopped already. She lost to a girl who, again, Sarah Malford. I've seen her fight. I can't remember who I seen her. Oh, and she was stopped by Katie Taylor. That was on the undercard of Joshua. Yeah, it was. She was stopped by Katie Taylor in 7 rounds on the undercard of Joshua versus Klitschko. So that's going back away. Sarah Malford. I've seen her fight. She's Danish. Oh yeah, she fought Serrano too a couple of years ago. I knew I recognised the name. I knew I'd seen that name before. I was just trying to think, where have I seen her fight? So Amanda Serrano is defending her titles. There's also a fight between Jonathan Gonzalez and Rene Santiago. That is for the WBO light flyweight world title. So there's a couple of world title fights on this card. Jake Paul, I don't believe he's the main event. I think Serrano is, but Jake Paul is in action. He's the guy most people will be coming to watch, although it is in Puerto Rico, to be fair. Jake Paul is fighting a guy who is 17-2 by the name of Ryan Borland. I've never heard of him, quite frankly. He hasn't had a fight since September 2020. So he's been out of the ring a while. He lost to a guy in a majority decision 6 years ago, Jose Hernandez, whose record at the time was 18-3. Close decision he lost, but nevertheless he lost. His record now is 19-6. Who has he been in there with? Anyone I even recognise? Did he rematch? Oh yeah, he rematched actually, that guy. So he avenged that loss, and he barely scraped the decision even in the rematch by the looks of things. So he lost that, and he got knocked out in 2015 in 1 round at light heavy. That's not a good sign, getting knocked out in a round. And it's a KO as well, not a TKO, which is never a good sign. Less than 2 minutes into the fight. Jesus. Israel Duffus. Let's have a look. 20-11 now as of right now. His last fight was a first round knockout loss back before Christmas. Got beat by Siobhan Clark in Clark's 5th pro fight. Siobhan Clark is Fan Lo Mang on points. Richard Rivera, Charles Foster. Recognise these names. Yeah, so that's who Jake Paul's going in there with. He is fighting boxers now, to be fair, Jake Paul. And licensed fight, not great. But at the end of the day, you know, I mean, you look at the guys, Jake Paul. Like, you look at this guy here, right? With the greatest of respect. Record doesn't look particularly good. In terms of his wins, there's no names I recognise. They all have pretty terrible records. Nevertheless, he's probably going to be more competent than anyone Tommy Fury would have fought. Because when you, and that's taking out Jake Paul and even KSI, to be honest with you, because you look at some of the guys Tommy Fury has been fighting in quote unquote, you know, his normal fights, normal boxing rules, normal Queensberry rules. They've been absolutely beyond horrific. I mean, Ben Whittaker fought one of the guys. And, you know, I like Ben Whittaker. Ben Whittaker, flashy, you know, I do think the Showboating can go. I like the Showboating to an extent, but sometimes you're just like, what the hell? But Ben Whittaker fought one of the guys Tommy Fury fought. I mean, Ben Whittaker was just like, what is this? This is easy. Tommy Fury, I can't remember who it was, but we went the distance with him and had a few kind of moments where you were like, That just goes to show the gulf between a Ben Whittaker, I hope I didn't say Ben Davison, and Tommy Fury. It's massive. So, yeah, you could say Jake Paul, he's this, he's that. At the end of the day, he is fighting. If Jake Paul, if you were looking at him as a prospect, you'd be looking and saying, well, look, he's kind of he's 8-1. He's fighting kind of really who you'd expect him to be fighting, to be fair. And the cards aren't too bad. So, you know, you can't really look at that and be like, oh, it's this. It's like, well, at least he's not doing it on the... At least when you look at the cards, they're fully fledged Queensberry fighters, as in Queensberry rule fighters. It's not misfits, not anything like that. And he's fighting boxers, so you can't really look at that and say, you know, oh, it's terrible. It's like, it's not misfits, you know. You're not seeing takedowns or anything like that, or attempts at takedowns and stuff like that. Or two guys like Wings and Boogie having to fight 1 minute rounds because everyone fears what might happen if they have to even go under 30 seconds. I mean, that was funny, but goddamn, that was something else. Anyway, moving on. Eddie Hearn has said that he expects Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney to be shown live on DAZN in the UK within the regular subscription, not on pay-per-view. But DAZN are yet to make a final decision on this. Well, it should be on regular DAZN in the UK because Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia is a much, much bigger name in the US. Right? Devin Haney against Prograde, that didn't do well on pay-per-view. Alright. Now, it wasn't on pay-per-view in the UK. This will be better, primarily because it's Ryan Garcia. It will be better, but it's not going to be like Triple G Canelo. It's not going to be like that. This does have, in the UK, this has no place being on pay-per-view, especially considering it's going to be an unsociable time as well for us in the UK. It has no place being on pay-per-view in the UK. When Eddie Hearn says they are yet to make a final decision, is that stemming from the fact that both guys are, you know, obviously looking for big purses and DAZN are thinking we need to make money? That will not do. I just don't see that fight doing numbers on, certainly in the UK, on pay-per-view. Again, neither guys are particularly big names in the UK. Unsociable times. Joshua-Ngannou, I get that. Makes perfect sense. But this, no. Good Lord. Good Lord, no. Speaking of Joshua-Ngannou, do you want to laugh? Do you want to laugh? Sky, who are obviously co-showing this fight, have actually come out and they've kind of thrown down a marker for DAZN. They've thrown down a marker for DAZN. I'll tell you why here, because obviously we know DAZN in the UK, the pay-per-view price is going to be £19.99. You obviously get a pound off if you're a pre-existing subscriber, so, you know, don't spend it all in one place. But Sky, they are charging, wait till you hear this, do you know how much Sky are charging? $19.99 with DAZN, right? The heads of Sky said, right, let's be competitive, right? Let's try and rival DAZN. Let's go a bit less. So if you get it on Sky, you ain't paying £19.99. Oh, no, you ain't. You are paying a grand total of £19.95. Yeah. My guys think it's 1924 in here, where 5 pence would have actually went somewhere. Not in 2024. Not even close. A pound doesn't even go that far. Much less 5 pence. So yeah, slightly cheaper. 5 pence cheaper on Sky. I'll definitely be getting the DAZN pay-per-view. I will not do Sky. I'll get the DAZN pay-per-view. And we're doing a watch along regardless, right? We're doing a watch along regardless. I'll be doing the DAZN pay-per-view 100%. The Japanese Boxing Commission have lifted Louis Neary's ban from the country ahead of his immediate announcement of his fight with Naoya Inoue on May 6th at the Tokyo Dome. He was banned originally after he tested positive for Zilpetrol, I think is how you say that name, after his 4-round TKO win over Shinsuke Yamanaka. I think I'm saying that name right. Apologies. In 2017. Then he came in massively overweight in the rematch. I mean, it was bad. So they've lifted his ban. He's been banned since 2018. I'm sure that the Japanese commission are thinking, you're going to get knocked out anyway. So you're there you go. You're going to get knocked out. Boom. See you later. So yeah, come over here and fight us, and then see you later. WBO president has revealed that Terence Crawford, that he and Terence Crawford have been having discussions of Crawford possibly moving up to 154 pounds. Crawford could seek the status of Super WBO champion to automatically become mandatory challenger for Tszyu, who is first set to fight Keith Thurman in a non-title fight at 155 pounds on the 30th of March. And I expect him to beat Keith Thurman, and I would expect Terence Crawford to beat Tszyu. As much as I like Tszyu, I think he's a very good fighter, I expect Terence Crawford to beat Tszyu. It's a good fight, it's competitive, but I expect Crawford to win. Canelo Alvarez. So it's a bit of a weird one. So we're hearing talk that Alvarez may be fighting Jaime Munguia, or he may be fighting Berlanga. According to Dan Rafael, Canelo would prefer to fight Berlanga in May and then Munguia in September, despite reports claiming he's already decided on Munguia next. It's said that it's in fact DAZN who want the Munguia fight first. No decision yet. So also, Al Heyman was reportedly willing to pay Canelo his guaranteed purse to fight Jamal Charlo in May, but only if he agreed to fight Benavidez in September. It's claimed that Canelo's 3-fight deal with PBC initially set out guaranteed purses for various opponents. Benavidez was never one of those, and Canelo did not want to agree to a reduced purse for the Charlo fight or face an opponent who wasn't initially agreed upon in Benavidez, hence the split. That doesn't sound good. That sounds to me like a straight up duck from Canelo, if that's true. Because Benavidez, listen, Charlo won't bring in near the money that Benavidez Canelo will. It just won't. And no one wants to see that fight. I don't want to see that. No one wants to see that fight, but we do want to see Benavidez, right? So if he's leaving DAZN, and they can still make that fight. He's mandatory challenger, for God's sakes. If they can still make that fight, it doesn't have to be on DAZN or PBC. You can go to a purse bid, and someone can bid. It doesn't have to be Eddie Hearn. It doesn't have to be PBC. Bob Arum could swoop in. You could be fighting him on ESPN. There you go. Happy days. That doesn't sound good from Alvarez, if it's true. I wouldn't like to see Canelo fight Berlanga next, because I just don't see that fight as being particularly competitive, quite frankly. I think Canelo would beat the living crap out of Edgar Berlanga. I don't think it'd be competitive. He would take a terrible beating or lose. No, I think he'd just take a terrible beating, and that'd be the end of it, quite frankly. I don't see... I can't see anyway that Canelo Alvarez doesn't win that fight. I really don't. I genuinely don't see it. So that's the situation with Canelo. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Kell Brook. Oh boy. Oh, I have to read this. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Kell Brook. Talks remain ongoing. Eubank Jr.'s promoter Kell Sauerland has confirmed. He said they're also in discussions for Eubank to challenge Janibek for the WBO and IBF world titles next. Well, preferably Janibek, quite frankly, because I don't want to see Kell Brook back in the ring. It's been 2 years since he fought Amir Khan. It's been 2 years. Yes, he looked good in that Amir Khan fight. Khan looked done. Like done. Kell Brook's been in the ring 2 years. He's never lived a clean life, to say the least. And God knows what he's done over the... And to be fair, he's looked in shape over the last 2 years, which is strange, really, considering that when he was active, he never seemed to keep himself in shape outside of camp. He's doing it now. But yeah, I don't want to see that. I'd make Eubank firm favourite. He'd probably stop Brook, and it would just be a fight that I'm looking at thinking, why do we need it? It just makes no sense. Sky would love to do it because it's a pay-per-view for them. Ben Shalom will be like, please, God, give me a pay-per-view because I don't have any here. I mean, Sky are having to get Joshua fights, put them on pay-per-view when he's not even a Sky fighter. That's how starved of pay-per-views they are. So, yeah, I'd imagine that Shalom, everyone is pushing for Eubank, Eubank to fight Brook, but I just don't want to see that fight. Jared Anderson will face Riyad Mari. Also, F.A. Ajagba will face Guido Viano, I think it's how you say that guy's name. Ajagba should win, as should Anderson, quite frankly. Now, I've seen the press conference for Devin versus Ryan. I've seen Ryan Garcia with Akin Barak have a passionate rant about, you know, the struggle he had making weight and how hard it was in the Tank Davis fight, and, you know, having a go people saying he quit. At the end of the day, he quit. He did. There's no ifs or buts. He chose to agree to all those terms. So he chose to agree to a catch weight. He chose to agree to a rehydration clause. All that. If he knew deep down that's going to hamper him so bad, why did he agree to it all? Is there no way of negotiating? At least you could turn around and say, look, I cannot make 135. Even 136 is an issue. You chuck a and I hate rehydration clause. I really hate them. You chuck that on board, I'd be fighting with one hand tied behind my back, metaphorically speaking. You know, but rather you go in there, yeah, you might not have been 100%, but, you know, we've seen it. And look, I don't want to sound like I'm being harsh on him for quitting, because I wasn't in this position. I don't know what I was feeling, but you do look at that and think, oh, I reckon that's going to happen again. Against Devin Haney, will it? I expect him to lose, get soundly outboxed. I don't think he'll quit, but God knows. Guillermo Rigondeaux will make his bare knuckle boxing debut on May the 11th. Good Lord. Times are very, very tough for Guillermo Rigondeaux. He's doing bare knuckle boxing now. My days. I don't know. Let's see. Is there anything else that's really there? Not really. Let's have a look at boxing scene. I think we're just gone over the 20-minute mark. Let's have a quick look-see on boxing scene. Ryan Garcia says Canelo has to fight Benavidez. I agree. Don't often agree with Ryan Garcia, but there you go. I'm agreeing with him there. I think he does as well. Garcia only has a left hook. It's a very good left hook, though, Devin. It's a very good left hook. You don't want to be taking it to the head or the body. Garcia hasn't improved since his amateur days. There you go. What else do we have? Joshua hasn't completely written off Wilder fight. Yeah, I seen him say that in an interview with Sky, where, you know, he was saying that he signed for the fight, as did Wilder, but Wilder didn't keep up his end of the deal, and he didn't. You know, he really didn't. He didn't. Lost to Joseph Parker. There's not really much else. Like, when I look at boxing scene news, there's not a great deal. I think I pretty much covered everything. At least that's been happening during the week in this video. So I will leave it there. Lads and lassies, I hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like button if you could. As always, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Hopefully on Saturday we will get the Ngannou Joshua special. Prediction video will come either tomorrow or Sunday, one or the other. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as for now, lads and lassies, I will leave it there. Peace.